Hello guys, welcome back again. So today we are going to discuss something very important concept. So that is kind of a Jenkins multi-job pipeline. Okay, so yesterday we have created a cloud institution project. Okay, which is kind of a which is kind of a basic pipeline, right? So basic pipeline in the sense, sorry. So as a basic pipeline in the sense, it's kind of a freestyle pipeline. We have we have just deployed yesterday. Okay, so today what are we going to do now is that so today we are going to deploy. Today we are going to create mul- one second, sorry. So today we are going to discuss about today we are going to create a pipeline project. Okay, so we are going to discuss about what is pipeline and why we need pipeline, and all these things is going to be very very interesting for us. Today we are going to discuss and we are going to dive deep into that. Okay, so as you can see my screen, so we have what are so this is the Jenkins job. Okay, so we have installed Jenkins in localhost 8080. We already seen this one. So if you can click on Jenkins, so whatever the project what we have created is going to be display. Okay, so this is kind of a simple pipeline. Okay, this is kind of a freestyle pipeline. So now what are we going to do now is that we are going to create. I'm going to create one more another pipeline. So that pipeline is called a pipeline project itself. So there are different pipelines are there. So yesterday we have discussed about so freestyle project. What is freestyle project? So freestyle project is something like classic general purpose and job type, job type that's check out uh, up to a SCM, execute build script, the seriously. So followed with the post build steps like archiving artifacts and all these things. So this one, the pipeline job is something like so the orchestrated long running activities that can span multiple build agents, so suitable for building a pipeline, okay, formerly known as a workflow, right? So the organizing a complex activities to do a not easy fix for freestyle job types. So what are they telling with this free pipeline job is that so for example, we'll create a pipeline job first. So I'm going to create a pipeline job called cloud institution. Okay, cloud institution project is what we have created yesterday. Okay, and it's already there. Okay, the pipeline project. I'm going to create a pipeline project. So I'm choosing the second option. Okay, so what is this pipeline project is all about is that so for example, I'm going to create it. I'm going to show it to you what is pipeline is all about. Okay, so this is how the pipeline the pipeline project will look like. Okay, so when compared to the freestyle project and the pipeline project, there are some little bit differences there. So that difference includes, okay, we are going to write a pipeline script. That's the major difference. What are we going to see over here? Okay, so pipeline from SCM and pipeline script. There are two types are there. What is SCM? Okay, so SCM is called as a source code management. Okay, for example, if you have a Jenkins file, so in your Git repository, then you should be able to get it from the Git repository. So for this session, we are going to see from the pipeline script. Okay, so what is pipeline script? Unlike the freestyle project, you write all the script over, all the script over here, it will be running, right? So let's see the comparison of what is the what is the difference between freestyle project and the pipeline project. Okay, so this is the freestyle project, cloud institution project, freestyle project. And if you can go for configure, okay, you can see this, you can see this all these things, right? So there are some kind of build steps will be there. Under build steps, we have kind of execute shell and all these things will be there. Okay, so for example, if I close this one, so there is a build step. Okay, so build step, you can just execute shell and execute Windows bash commands and Python scripts, and the invoke and all these kind of options you will get. Is right. So what is the comparison of the freestyle project versus the freestyle project versus the pipeline project? So the freestyle project, so if you can see here, so here it says that build steps, okay, at the build step, but here you can see the pipelines itself. Okay, so what is the pipeline? Is okay, as you can see here. Okay, so yesterday we have discussed the same thing, right? So we have So we have three different infrastructure, infrastructure for our environment, right? For example, we have a three different kind of environment which will be there. Okay, so this is kind of a dev environment. This is the dev. This is staging. This is staging, and this is the production. Okay, this is the prod. Okay, so so we have these three environments. Okay, so now what are we going to do now is that so we are going to see some kind of a simple pipeline. Okay, so let's copy this pipeline. I'm going to share this to you guys. Okay, so I'm going to copy this pipeline code and I'm going to paste over here. So this is what the pipeline, the pipeline script. So this is also known as a infrastructure as a code. Okay, so what is infrastructure as a code? What is IAC? Okay, if you can consider what is infrastructure as a code, this is what it is. So what is infrastructure as a code? You're just managing your infrastructure and you're just the deploying the infrastructure with the code itself. So we also seen that so we have another concept called Terraform and cloud formation, and all this kind of things can also be considered to be a infrastructure as a code. Okay, but here also we are managing our infrastructure or managing our builds using this code. Okay, so what does this code will do? Okay, what is this code basically? So without we write any kind of a scripts, okay, so this build will be running. So first, for example, here we have a three stages. Okay, so this is the, let's say for example, this is the first stage. As you can see here, this is the first stage. It's a dev stage. Let's say for example, let's take this one as here, and then let's paste it over here. Okay, this is the stage, build stage dev, and the second stage is going to be staging. Okay, the staging, and this final is the production. Okay, so final is the production. Now what are we doing is that so we are going to make some kind of a basic script. Okay, so instead of doing all these things, for now I'm going to do some kind of a very very basic kind of a command. Okay, so now what I'm going to do now is that I'm just giving running in cloud, running in dev. Okay, running in staging. Okay, so running in prod, okay, so these three are the environment which you are going to run. So what happens is that it will be running by stage. So that's what the beauty of the pipeline script. The pipeline job, what it will be doing is that it goes a pipeline, right? So first of all, it will go and deploy in dev environment. For example, if we have our code which is having the dev environment code, so it will go and run on dev infrastructure first. Then if the test is passed, okay, so if the script is passing, then it'll go and install, deploy, and staging. Okay, so the control will come like this, so it will run all these things, all the commands and everything. So once it is passed, then it will go to the next environment, is staging. Then it will run all the script and everything, is test everything. So then finally the same script, or different script will go and test it on the production. Okay, the production will be continuously running. Okay, so what is the advantage of doing this one? We don't want anybody to be to be running their code in production directly. Okay, so the production is kind of a very 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 critical path, right? So right now we have only one kind of a right now we have only one local host is there. Okay, so if you want to run these things in some kind of a different EC2 instances, so about EC2 instances, right? So if you wanted to run these scripts in EC2 instances, okay, so maybe that so we can just give all the EC2 instances information over here. Then this script, so this echo command will be running on that particular EC2 instances itself. Okay, so it'll be running continuously. First it will run over here and then run over here and then run over here. Okay, so now I'm going to test how this is going to work. Okay, so I'm going to save this command, save this one. Okay, I'm going to do a build now. Okay, there is no builds which has already been running now. I'm going to do build now. Okay, so now build is getting scheduled and build is successful. As you can see here, build is successful. Let's go to the build and see what has happened. So as soon as you can just click on the build. As you can see inside the console output, okay, as you can see here, so first stage is running in dev, second stage is running in staging, third stage is running on prod. Okay, as I mentioned with you previously, first it will run on dev environment. Whatever the script you are running on the dev environment, it will be running in dev environment. Then the control will pass to the staging, and the control will pass to the production. Now, okay, so but you may ask me that, so where are we defining our infrastructure? Okay, so these three infrastructure are there, but we are not defining our infrastructure anywhere. Well, so the infrastructure we need to define, this is kind of a basic script, right? This is kind of a basic script. Okay, so what we have to do is that, so whenever we are running, so they're running the stages, so inside the stage, okay, this is the steps, so inside the steps, we need to run our own commands, the SSH, SSH into SSH into that EC2 user, SSH-i kind of a PEM file, so key.pem, something like that, key.pem, then EC2 user, EC2 user at the rate the IP address, IP address of this machine, the 10.0.0.20, something like that, then it will log into this particular script machine. It will run this command, whatever it has been running. Okay, for now it is wrong, because I'm just keeping it for some examples. Okay, so now how this one will work, right? So now let's go and do some kind of operations. Okay, so everything is be working in my current system. Now I'm going to create one folder, okay, in my temp directory. Okay, so this is what the command which I'm going to use. Okay, so in the under steps, I'm just copying this echo hi. Okay, running in dev, and after that I'm just giving, okay, I don't want echo hi because I already had this one, so I'm just running some kind of a shell script. So this shell script, what it does is that, okay, so what it does, it'll go and create touch, means like it's going to create some kind of a text file, so pipeline.txt, okay, under temp folder. Now I'm copying this directory. I'm just typing it in my in my terminal, ls. So there is no such file or directory. Okay, so this file is not been there. I'm going to create this file automatically from this build pipeline. Okay, so first of all, what's going to be happening is that it's going to be creating the shell script. Okay, so now let's see how it's going to work. I'm going to save this one, then I'm going to do a build now. Okay, I'm building now. The pipeline is building. You can see the console output. Okay, the console output. Okay, you can also see as a plain text. Okay, so if you can click on plain text, it will work. So it's running on dev. That folder must have been created. Okay, it's already ran on dev and staging and prod. All these three infrastructure is ran. Okay, so now I wanted to go and see whether this text is exist on. See, previously before running this script, whenever I'm just typing it, /temp, pipeline.txt, it's saying that no such file or directory. Now it has been created one text file. Now let's see what is the content inside this text file. vi/tmp pipeline.txt. Okay, this is empty. Okay, so this file is empty. Okay, now we are going to add some kind of a context inside this file. Okay, so now I'm going to configure again. Okay, the touch is already there because it's already created. So what happened if you do it again? What happened? For example, I'm going to save it. I'm going to run it again. I'm going to run the same script. Okay, so it's got run. It's nothing is happening because it's already been, the pipeline has already been executed and everything looks good. Okay, now Now what I'm going to do now is that, I'm going to configure again. Okay, now I'm going to do one kind of a simple command, echo hello into, into the file called /tmp pipeline.txt. So now what I'm going to do now is that, so I'm going to have, I'm going to run this as a command. Okay, so I'm just giving echo, hello, then it's going to be redirected to, this particular file. So let's see how it's going to work. Okay, it's not liking it. Okay, I think this Groovy is not liking this kind of a syntax, so we need to change the syntax. Okay, so let's forget about this for now. Let's not have this one. Okay, so because we can also add some kind of a, so we need to add something like this again. So what we can do is like, because where, because we have run it outside, it should be in the double quotes. Okay, so what we can do is we can just take this one and we can take this one and put it inside this three quotes. Okay, so this file is already created, we don't need this now. Okay, so let's remove this one. So now the file is already, sorry, the file is already there. Okay, the file is already there, and I'm going to add some kind of hello text inside this one. Okay, so for now, as you can see, there is no kind of a text file is there. There is no cat/tmp pipelines.txt, nothing is there inside. Okay, so now let's see how it's going to work. So build now. Okay, now it's got successful. We can see the console output, it's been shell has been executed. Now let's see if there is any kind of a content has been added. See, the content has been added inside this file. Okay, this is kind of a first stage. The single first stage, so whatever the file content or whatever the script you wanted to give inside this one, or if you want to delete. Okay, and also let's do some kind of a file operations, like you can also delete, this kind of a this file, inside this one. Okay, rm -rf. If you do this one, it'll delete it. Okay, so now this is how you're running the pipelines, right? Like, so now let's see. Okay, we have already seen one of the pipelines. Okay, so it's going to be deleting now. Okay, see, no sys file directory. As soon as I mentioned, build is run, says the no sys file directory. So now, as you can see here, right, like if you can go to configure, what is pipelines? As I mentioned, because the pipelines means if this build is, if the build is wrong, I mean, if the build is kind of a, running wrongly. For example, I'm just giving, instead of echo, I'm just giving Java. Okay, I'm just giving Java. Java what test.txt, test.java. I'm just giving like this one. Okay, so now it, for example, if let's see, what's going to be happening with the stage. So now I just got this error. Okay, and the console output, as you can see. Okay, so production skipping due to the earlier failures. Skipping due to the staging is skipping due to earlier failures. Okay, so it's giving a lot of the errors, something like this. The reason why is failing is because in dev, whenever we are running in dev, okay, we found some errors. Okay, so we found some errors in this dev environment. So because we have found some kind of errors in build environment, dev environment, the control will not pass, and then the script, will not be running in staging. Okay, subsequently, the same build will not be running in production also. Okay, this is kind of a breakage. Okay, so do you understand then why we need a pipelines? So it should be automatically deploying in each and every environment as when it is getting passed. But for now, it is not getting passed in first environment. Okay, for now, okay, I'm just copying this one. I'm just running in. I'm just keeping it here. Okay, just simply I'm just want to run some kind of a Java script, because this way I'm just making some kind of a errors. Okay, now if I can do a build. if you can do a build, the build will pass on the dev stage. Running on dev is passed. Running on staging is getting skipping production due to the earlier failures because it's got failure on staging. So what is the failure on staging? It's telling that so Jenkins, the plugin workflow, so this kind of a some kind of errors is got is got inside that one. That's why it has got failure. Okay, so this is the major reason why we need a pipelines job. Okay, now did you understand that so but same thing we cannot do it in a build stage. Okay, this is what something called pipeline job. Okay, so why we call this a pipeline job? This is what kind of a CI/CD, right? So whenever no, so continuous deployment. This is kind of a continuous deployment. So continuous integration is we use the Git and then the Git webhooks and everything. So this is kind of a continuous deployment. Continuous deployment means whenever the code is coming from here, it started with the dev, continue with the staging and then the production. Okay, the control this goes like this. Okay, so do you understand this one? So that's all we'll cover. So that's all we'll cover, that what is Jenkins pipelines with the standalone code. Okay, it's not from the Jenkins file. So in the next class, what are we going to do now is that so we're going to do SCM. SCM means source code management. So okay, the next class we're going to see, okay, pipeline, instead of pipeline script, we're going to use a pipeline script from SCM. So the SCM will be like Jenkins file that has to be reading it from the Git repository. Okay, so that is how we are going to be defining the Jenkins file and everything from there, and we are going to pull it from the Jenkins file itself. Whenever we do whenever we change this Jenkins file from the Git repository, it's automatically trigger it. It should automatically give you the result. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, thank you.